you needed why else would the book really be judged by its width in that way? You don't know what's on the pages. You just saw the book and the size of it deterred you. That has nothing to do with me. The old me would have let my ego respond and be angry with this woman. But my higher self has stepped in so greatly, and this taught me that it really is that. It really is that I'm not led by my pain anymore, so I'm not walking around looking to be offended. And so I could...
Looking to be offended.
Yeah, I could have compassion for her. In that immediate moment, realizing that everything's not about you. Even if somebody is directing something to you, it's not about you. And you really got to just not take it personal. People are your reflection. We're all deflecting. Whatever is inside of us is coming out of us. So if I'm out here being mean and nasty to people, I'm feeling mean and nasty inside.
Because that's what we're projecting.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm not likely going to believe I did anything to hurt you because I'm just talking to you. But that's how I'm talking to myself. So yeah, it might seem greasy to you, but it doesn't seem greasy to me if that's how I'm talking to myself.
Right.
So this whole situation prompted me to do something. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to make a video about that particular thing. Explain, like show the books, show them, turn the pages and talk through why I made it that way. And the video really talks about the fact that I created it as a quick guide because when you're dealing with healing, the last thing you want is a thick book that you're not going to finish.
Because you don't get through all of the steps, all of the processes.
Yeah. You end up giving up on it because it feels too hard. If it's too long and it's too dense, you're going to be like, nah, I'm hurting too bad. So you might get to, let's say you get to 60 pages, but the hurt is feeling so difficult to come out of. Because at 60 pages, you can't do what I did at 60 pages, which is bring them back full circle. You can't do that at 60 pages if you have a heavy book. You got to get all the way to the end of that. And if that book is 300 pages, well, you got to do that around 210. Because you got to keep them in there. You got to keep them, they got to be hooked to get to that part, right? But most people don't get to that part because you've took them through the ringer.
300 pages is a textbook.
That's a long book. And that was my
That's a
thing,
semester
right?
in college.
And I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. Everybody has books in their house that they bought with the ambition to read it. Yeah. Because you really, in your heart of hearts, you're in the bookstore like, yeah, I'm about to get that one. Yeah, you're sitting down with it and really getting into it. But the truth is, when I was thinking about that book, I was thinking about the state that I was in when I needed a book like that. I wanted something to get to the point, and that's what I said in the video. And in the video, I'm super passionate about it because I care about other people healing because I've been in the deep and in the dark and in the pain of it all. And the ruminating of it all. I tell people all the time, I was ruminating so bad that I put myself in the hospital with anginas. Princeton anginas. I needed nitrogen. Like my heart can't do what it's built to do. My body can't do what God created my body to do, which is self-healing, self-recovery. We're built to heal ourselves. And I'm needing an external, not just person, but a pill, a powdered pill to make my heart do what it's supposed to do because I'm out of alignment with what I'm supposed to do. So what I'm supposed to do became everybody else. I'm the center of that. I'm looking for everything externally to fix me when the truth is it was sitting inside of me the whole time.
The entire time.
Yes. So I know how deep and dark that feels and how impossible it feels. So when I wrote that book with the pain of remembering that and getting to the other side and letting people know, I promise it's hard right now. It's not going to remain hard forever. It's got to stay this hard because one day you're going to get out of that. And you got to remember how dark the time was so that you never forget to be grateful. The reason that we fall prey to what we fall prey to is because we're spoiled and ungrateful.
Unpack that.
Oh, I am. Did you record yet? I don't want to be.
Oh, yeah. We recorded. Yeah, we here now.
Okay.
We here now.
I ain't want to be giving all this good juice.
Oh, no. We recording. We got it all going. Yeah.
Okay. For me, the last thing, which part do you want me to unpack first? Let me ask you that.
Everything. Just go. Yeah. Because I'm going to say both, so that's why it's going from. Yeah.
So that level of being spoiled and ungrateful, you want that part?
Yes, please.
Being spoiled and ungrateful. We wake up every day, right? At some point in your life, you were praying for where you are in this part of your life. And if you're in a part of your life that you did not actually pray for, you might have been there before you got to the part you didn't pray for. But when you got the part that you prayed for, you failed to acknowledge it. You failed to be grateful for it. God or the universe or source or divine, or whatever you call the omnipotent being, is not looking to punish you. God is looking to give you lessons so that you sit in continuous gratitude so that then you can get all of the abundance. Your abundance is on that other side of your gratitude for the things that get you up in the morning. And every day, if you get a chance to do it differently, why are you doing it the same? It's absolutely fascinating on this side, right? But when I was on the other side, I was going to live every day like it was my favorite record. It was a painful record, but I was going to live it every day because I felt indebted to that pain. I felt like that pain was what I earned because a lot of the things that I'd done to get me there put me there. And so I was willing to stay in it and get my blanket and cozy up to it because we belong together. And because we're taught love and sacrifice, love and pain, love and strife. We're taught that, but we're not actually taught. I had this conversation with my client earlier. Like, women are taught subservience and servitude. And men are taught their value is wrapped up in penis and a paycheck. But no one's being taught love. You know, TikTok has been amazing for me because the engagement is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. They are actually having real conversations. I don't really have to say anything. They carry the conversations really well. But there was one guy, remember when we recorded and we were talking about unconditional love and rejection, you asked me, how does rejection impact you?
Yes.
And I said, it doesn't anymore because whatever doesn't want me, I don't want it. It's not for me, right? And as I was talking about all of this, and I said I have the ability to love everyone unconditionally. I can love you and release you, right? So he says, his argument with this was, then you're not loving, you're leaving out of fear. And I said, that's not what I said. And so after we're going back and forth about this, he wants to just tell me how. No, because basically you're going to leave somebody that you say you love if you're uncomfortable with the situation, right? And I'm paraphrasing, but and I'm explaining to him, love and attachment, codependency, and tolerance, those things are not the same. Love is free flowing. To say that you love someone is going to involve releasing them. But releasing them while you still have a healthy respect for them and a healthy love for them. The problem is people wait too long. They wait too long to let somebody go. They wait till they're not getting anything else from them. They wait until they're not able to gain from them. They're not getting their ego stroked. They're not feeling good with their person anymore. They wait until that person isn't serving them anymore, and then they feel good about releasing them. That's not love.
What is that?
That's more of attachment. That's a lot of codependency. That's stroke my ego because I wasn't loved as a child. It's a lot of inner child pain being passed to people in these dynamics and calling it love. Of course people don't like love. Of course they think they hate love because they've created this wildly privileged idea of what love is. Love is, I gotta love you no matter if I like you or not, because love, it has to supersede what you're doing. I don't have to like what you're doing, but I've gotta love you as my fellow man, as my fellow brother, as my fellow sister. I've gotta love you for that. I don't have to like what you do, so I don't have to interact with you. Unconditional love does not mean unconditional tolerance. I don't gotta put up with what you're doing, but I can love you and wish you well. The problem is we stay too long in all of these dynamics, in friendships and in jobs. People stay at jobs too long. Like, you can't just keep staying until you're withering away in these spaces and calling it love and then mad at love. And now your heart is broken. I didn't argue with that man anymore. Eventually I said, okay, because you don't argue with a heartbroken person. Their ears are different. When you feel like love is real and love is kind and love is gentle, you can't argue with a person who feels like love is nothing but pain and strife. You can't argue with them. Their view of the world is different. They see a sunset differently than you do. And once you know that, you send that person love and compassion. My heart broke for that man because he's on the internet arguing with someone about that you don't know. Because he told me in the first, the reason I got into the comment was him saying, how does she know that she can love unconditionally? And my response was because I'm me. I remember a time I couldn't love unconditionally. I remember that time. So you can't tell me what I'm not capable of doing right now. There's people that I'm not friends with today, people that I'm not in relationships with today. But if I saw somebody and they needed something from someone that does something that they do, if they're good at what they do, I'm going to recommend that person because that's business and I'm not getting in the way of their money. So I'm going to recommend that person. But we don't got to be friends. I don't need you to go back and tell them that I did anything because I'm not looking for my ego to be stroked. When you start operating differently, you're responsible for everything that you do. You're responsible for your words. You're responsible for your actions. Your words are like spells. When you talk to people, you got to be really careful with what you're saying. When you operate in higher self, it feels different. I'm going to always aim for people to get to the other side because I believe that we can all eat on what is called love.
That was real. That was deep.
Okay.
Now go ahead with your little podcast.
Carry on.
Okay.